All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely dismantle everything you think you know about pitching. Seriously, if you've ever struggled to get an idea approved or to close the deal, you are in the exact right place. We're going to explore the neuroscience-backed framework from Oren Klaff's absolutely fascinating book, Pitch Anything. Get ready to fundamentally change how you present your ideas.
Okay, let's dive right in. Here's our roadmap for today. 1. The pitching disconnect. 2. Meet the croc brain. 3. Mastering frame control. 4. Escaping beta traps. And finally, 5. The 20-minute pitch strategy.
So, starting off with Section 1, the pitching disconnect, or why your perfect pitch is failing.
Look, we've all been there, right? You've got the perfect slides, your data is bulletproof, and your logic is absolutely airtight. But when you actually deliver the pitch, your audience's eyes just kind of glaze over. It's incredibly frustrating. Well, why aren't they buying in? It's because we tend to craft and deliver our pitches using the neocortex, the analytical, modern, logic-driven part of our brains. We pack our presentations with numbers and rational arguments. But here's the catch. Your audience doesn't receive the information that way. They process it with their primitive, emotion-driven croc brain. It's just a massive biological mismatch.
As Oren Klaff points out, there is a fundamental disconnect between the way we pitch anything and the way it is received by our audience. Basically, your pitches aren't failing because you aren't working hard enough or because you need more spreadsheets. It's because of this exact biological disconnect. You're speaking a language of logic to a brain that literally only understands survival and emotion.
Moving on to Section 2. Meet the croc brain, the primitive decision maker.
Okay, if we actually want to fix our pitches, we have to bust a major myth. Think about the neocortex for a second. It's analytical, it's rational, and it's incredibly slow. But the croc brain? It's primitive, highly attuned to danger, and reacts instantly, like an actual crocodile snapping at a threat. The shocking truth here is that the neocortex is not the primary decision maker. The croc brain makes the gut decision first, and the neocortex just rationalizes it later. Meaning, if your pitch gets filtered out by the croc brain's danger alarms, your audience's rational brain never even hears it.
So to bypass those built-in danger filters and actually grab their attention, your pitch has to appeal directly to the croc brain. And honestly, the croc brain is incredibly simple. It really only wants 3 things: positive emotion, absolutely no fear or threat, and exciting novelty. If you can deliver those 3 things, you hold the keys to their attention. It's literally a biological cheat code.
Next up, Section 3, Mastering Frame Control, the invisible psychological battlefield.
Right, so how do we actually deliver what the croc brain wants? Well, it comes down to winning the invisible psychological battlefield of every single meeting you walk into. To do this, you have to understand frames. A frame is essentially an invisible mental filter. It's how a person views the world and establishes power dynamics. Whenever 2 people meet, their frames collide and they compete for dominance. The person whose frame wins ends up dictating the entire agenda, the tone, and the outcome of that meeting. If your frame loses, you're just stuck reacting to them.
Klaff breaks this down into 5 major frames you'll encounter: power, analyst, intrigue, time, and prize. Let's say someone comes at you with an arrogant power frame. You counter it with a small, playful act of defiance to rebalance that dynamic. Or if they trap you in an analyst frame, getting bogged down in those boring deep dive details that completely kill the momentum, you disrupt them with an intrigue frame. Picture this. You tell a suspense-filled personal story, but you stop right before the climax. You don't give them the ending. That spikes their curiosity, re-engages their croc brain, and sparks a massive wave of what we call hot cognition.
All right, Section 4, Escaping beta traps and capturing situational status. Now, having a great frame is essential, but there's another psychological layer here. You simply cannot persuade someone if you're communicating from a position of lower status, because the person who sets the rules is the one in control. Think about your normal business rituals: waiting in a lobby for 20 minutes, being told exactly where to sit, doing that forced small talk just to seek approval. Klaff calls these beta traps. They're subtle little ways the target sets the rules to establish themselves as the alpha and you as the beta. See, your target's croc brain is constantly scanning the social hierarchy. If it sees you obediently following all their rules, it immediately tags you as a subordinate. You need to look for small, professional, but firm ways to defy these beta traps. So instead of acting like an obedient subordinate and sitting exactly where they tell you to in the lobby, stand up, lean confidently against the wall, dodge the desperate, needy small talk. Show them you aren't just another rule follower.
To put this into action, you want to seize what we call local star power.
Basically, situational status just for the duration of the meeting. Keep the conversation strictly in your domain of expertise, where you are the star. Maintain it and solidify it by recruiting allies. Get someone else in the room to agree with you. And finally, flip the script. Ask the target to explain a recent success of theirs. Suddenly, they're the ones qualifying themselves to you, and they are the ones chasing.
Which brings us to Section 5, the 20-minute pitch strategy, also known as the STRONG method.
We're pivoting from psychological theory to pure execution now. The STRONG method is your structural formula for a winning pitch. It stands for set the frame, tell the story, reveal the intrigue, offer the prize, nail the hook point, and get a decision. This sequential formula is perfectly designed to deliberately capture attention, build undeniable desire, and drive action. Notice what it's absolutely not. It's not an unstructured one-hour data dump.
You've got to be incredibly concise here. The timeline breaks down like this. You spend just 5 minutes introducing your track record and your big idea. Then, 10 minutes max on the budget and your competitive secret sauce. 2 minutes offering the clear deal terms. And finally, a 3-minute wrap-up. That is 20 minutes total. Go any longer, and you risk boring the croc brain and losing the deal entirely.
Now, let's zoom in on those crucial final 3 minutes. Your ultimate goal at the end of your pitch is to achieve what Klaff calls hot cognition. What does that mean? It means making your audience absolutely love your idea before they even fully understand all the math behind it. You do this by engaging the croc brain with overwhelming desire and excitement. You want them emotionally committed and eager way before their neocortex steps in to overanalyze the details.
To actually trigger that hot cognition, use a technique called frame stacking. In those last 3 minutes, you layer these 4 frames in rapid succession. First, you hit them with intrigue to grab their absolute focus. Next, you drop the prize frame to remind them that you're the hot commodity they need to win over. Immediately after that, you deploy a time frame to create real scarcity and absolute urgency. And finally, you finish with moral authority, claiming the ethical high ground. This sequence creates this irresistible, overwhelming momentum that they literally cannot ignore.
To sum this all up, attention is the ultimate currency of persuasion. Oren Klaff hits the nail on the head here. The better you are at keeping someone's attention, the more likely that person will be to go for your idea. Remember, if the croc brain is bored, it shuts the door. Your brilliant neocortex data never even gets a chance to be heard.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative question to chew on. Take a hard look at your own presentation habits. Next time you walk into a big meeting, are you just dumping data, hoping logic wins the day? Or are you actually pitching to the croc brain? Master the frame, control the status, and go win the deal.